You know who really grinds my gears? It's Terrible Terry, John Terry Porter. I don't care what you call him, but it's Terry Rozier. Listen, I made a video a month ago basically explaining how Terry Rozier has been unplayable. I looked at all the advanced stats and I was hoping that I could reverse jinx it. I was hoping that I would post that video and then all of a sudden Terry Rozier would turn it around. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened. And to an extent, it's got worse because now he's being investigated by the FBI. But anyways, I wanted to make this video specifically today because just yesterday against the Boston Celtics, Terry Rozier had one of the worst first halves I've ever seen in my entire life, where he played 8 minutes and was a minus 21. You know how hard you have to try to be a minus 21 in 8 minutes? Like, you literally have to try to be that bad. Which again, maybe he is because he's getting investigated for betting on himself or against himself. But anyways, what I want to do in the first part of this video is I want to look at a few of Terry's offensive possessions in the first half and show why it doesn't work while he's in there, and more so why he frustrates me. So Terry Rozier checked in yesterday when the Heat were up 11 points. There was 2 minutes and 37 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Heat were up 24-23. So starting with this first possession, you can see Terry Rozier is already attacking. He's past half court. There's only 3 seconds off of the shot clock, so very clearly there has been no passes this offensive possession at all, which is terrible because that means the ball is stagnant. You're not getting good ball movement, and that's where good shots come from. But you see Terry Rozier attacking, and I'll show the play in full first as he goes into the lane and forces a layup on Al Horford where he gets absolutely blocked. Now, what I want to note here is how, again, there's no ball movement. He makes no effort to get anyone involved as Jason Tatum picks him up at the three-point line right here. You see them sort of doing a soft double, but Terry Rozier is able to split that, get right into the lane, and the shot blocker is there. This is not a good layup attempt. Terry Rozier is taking off 7-8 feet from the hoop. He's more than halfway. He's closer to the free throw line than he is to the rim right here. So that's how you know he's at least 8 feet away. This is not a clean layup attempt. He goes up soft. Al Horford's a good shot blocker and just completely forces this for no reason. When you could see there's 4 Celtics bodies around him. He's completely ignoring Nikola Jovic in the corner, who's having a very good shooting season. He doesn't even bother looking for Bam Adebayo, who's traveling down the lane back here. He just forces up the shot without worrying about what anybody else is doing, and then Bam Adebayo gets the layup and somehow gets blocked because his finishing at the rim this year has been pretty bad too. But this video is not about Bam Adebayo. This is just an awful possession here from Terry Rozier. What the hell is he doing trying to force this layup? I don't know. And maybe you're thinking, hey, maybe he learned his lesson. But no, because this is Terry Rozier's very next shot. You can see now we're early in the second quarter. Once again, only 3 seconds off the shot clock. So there has been 0 passes. We'll let the clip play in full here as Terry Rozier once again forces another awful layup with no ball movement whatsoever. He's being guarded by Derek White, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Terry Rozier tries to do this little hesitation dribble for no reason, like he's trying to throw Derek White off pace, off balance, so he can blow past him, I guess. Doesn't work because very clearly Derek White is still between Terry Rozier and the rim. And once again, Terry Rozier takes off from about 8 feet away from the hoop. He's nowhere near the rim, so he shouldn't even be taking these shots in general because his finishing numbers this year are so bad. And he tries forcing the heavily contested left-handed layup over the outstretched Derek White. Nothing more to say about this shot than it just being Terry Rozier forcing a layup for no reason. You can see once again, he's got Nikola Jovic wide open in the corner. Doesn't bother to look for Duncan Robinson, who's probably the best offensive player they have out here. But no, Terry Rozier decides to force the layup before the Heat even have all 5 guys back on offense. I don't know who the 5th guy was at this point of the game, but he's forcing layups before everybody is back. You have 24 seconds on the shot clock. Why are you forcing a heavily contested left-handed layup with only 6 seconds off the shot clock? I don't understand it. This is just another terrible possession of many by Terry Rozier. And in the next clip, we have the infamous Terry Rozier step back. You can see there's still 19 seconds on the shot clock, so only 5 seconds have elapsed. I'm sure there was no ball movement before this play. Nikola Jovic is sort of going to slip this screen here. He's being guarded. Nikola Jovic is being guarded by all of 5'2" Peyton Pritchard. And what does Terry Rozier do with the slower Al Horford on him? You would say, hey, maybe Terry attacks, gets to the rim, able to blow past old-ass Al Horford, because Al Horford is 47 years old. But no, Terry Rozier settles for his step-back three. He does actually create a little bit of space right here, but that's irrelevant because we'll get into the numbers a little bit later. But he's not shooting this shot well at all this year. That's a terrible shot with some of the other options that's out there. There's no reason that he didn't try to attack Al Horford here. There's no reason he didn't look for 6'10" Nikola Jovic on the much smaller Peyton Pritchard. And you can see all of these people here just standing around the perimeter. You got Andrew Wiggins and his 18 points per game. New addition. Hey, maybe let's look for the new guy. No, Terry Rozier settles for step back threes. And I truly think everybody else's offense suffers because of it. I'm not here to say Terry Rozier is the scapegoat, because certainly most of the guys haven't played well over the last 2 games. But I do think Terry Rozier taking stupid shots like this really impacts everyone else because it doesn't let them get into a flow. Why is he taking this step? Why is he taking a step back three? I don't know. You can see that at this point, the Heat were already only up 1, and I'm sure the Celtics got this rebound and went down and ended up taking the lead. But that's a terrible shot. Now, this is the 4th shot that Terry Rozier has taken, and this was actually a good one. I want to see more of this, which is turning defense into offense. We'll let the clip play here. You see Terry Rozier plays the passing lane very well. He's able to get the steal and the breakaway layup. Defense turns into offense. I know Terry Rozier is not a great defender, but this was a smart shot, and he was able to take advantage. I'm surprised he didn't stop at the top of the key for a step-back three. I liked how he got the ball, saw the smaller Pritchard on his back, and just went right into the lane and got plenty of space that he needed. He still took off a little bit early. Not too much early. These guys are athletic. For a guy like me, that'd be early. But this time he had the clear lane, was able to get right to the rim, and I like to see him active on defense in this possession. This was a good play by Terry. The only good one in the first half, because in this last clip, which was Terry Rozier's 5th and final shot of the first half, it was another, you guessed it, step back 3-pointer. We'll let the clip play here. You see Khalil Ware coming up for the dribble handoff, and Terry Rozier settles for another extremely inefficient step back 3. We'll start the play from the beginning. You see Andrew Wiggins in the corner here, and Nikola Jovic in this corner. That is pretty nice spacing. Khalil Ware's coming up top here to set the screen, but it turns into a little bit of a dribble handoff over here. We see them run this play all the time with Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo. It's a very efficient shot for a guy like that because he's a good shooter. But what do you notice when Duncan Robinson does that dribble handoff is he doesn't dribble after getting the handoff. He comes off the screen right away and shoots it. Because look right here, Terry Rozier has the space to pop the 3. Porzingis is sort of playing a little bit of that drop coverage. He has to be wary of the Khalil Ware, no pun intended, roll to the rim. Peyton Pritchard is blocked behind that big Ware screen. Terry Rozier needs to shoot this ball right away. But instead, what does he do? He takes a dribble in and does a step back. He has he doesn't have as good rhythm when he takes that shot. Some guys do. They like the little off the dribble, opposed to the catch and shoot. But the numbers will not show you that for Terry Rozier, as his step back shooting this year has been awful. So what he's got to do is he has to shoot this one either right off the screen here, or here's a thought, maybe give it to Khalil Ware, who's being guarded by a 5'2" leprechaun and Peyton Pritchard. Now, obviously, if Terry Rozier, Ware doesn't really roll here, maybe he doesn't roll because he knows Terry's shooting it. You can see right away as Terry Rozier gets into that step back action, Khalil Ware kind of softens up a little bit here because these guys know Terry's not going to pass it because he's an awful facilitator. Maybe if they had a true point guard out there or Terry Rozier got back to his facilitating ways. He used to run the pick and roll a lot when he was in Charlotte. I don't know what the hell happened to that. They don't run no pick and rolls for Khalil Ware no more, the Heat in general. And it's ridiculous. This should have easily been a pick and roll or find a way to get this ball to Khalil Ware on the block if Terry Rozier holds on to it a little bit longer. Try to take advantage of the mismatch or shoot the 3 right away like I was saying earlier right here. But what you don't do is you don't take this terrible step back 3. That's not a good shot at all. Nobody's in rebounding position except for Nikola Jovic. You have 4 Celtics in the paint. Where the hell is everyone else at? I don't know. Awful, awful, awful basketball by Terry Rozier. So those were the 5 shots that Terry took in the first half, and you can see here that he subbed out with 6 minutes and 41 seconds left in the second quarter. So that was 8 minutes of game time for Terry Rozier, in which he was a minus 21. They were up 11 when he checked in. They were down 10 when he checked out, and I don't think that's a coincidence. And I know you maybe say, hey, I'm cherry picking a specific game here, just the first part of the game. What about the fourth quarter? I'm not cherry picking nothing. This video is a great representation of what it's been like for Terry Rozier all season. His fourth quarter numbers this year actually are slightly better than his overall numbers from an efficiency standpoint. You can see he's shooting 43% from the field, 37% from three. Those aren't great efficiencies, but they are slightly better than his overall numbers. I think that's partly due to the fact that he's been playing a lot of garbage time this year because the Heat have gotten blown out a lot. They've had clutch games, of course, but last year, every game was a clutch game. And this year, you've had more blowouts than I'd care to remember. And unfortunately, Terry Rozier is playing a lot of those minutes because he's, I guess, that level of player now. He's out there with the G League guys. He's out there with the two-way players. And he has done a lot of damage control, lipstick on a pig, whatever you want to call it, garbage time numbers. He's done a lot of that this year, and I think that's why the efficiencies are a little bit better. But the number that I want to point out here that is not, or that is concerning to me, is he's playing almost 10 minutes per fourth quarter this season. That's an Erik Spoelstra thing. Obviously, I'm sitting here this video and I'm critical of Terry Rozier. I believe it's rightfully so. But a lot of criticism needs to go to Erik Spoelstra, who deserves his own video, who we might get out eventually later this season too. Because among other things, playing Terry Rozier this much and this much in the fourth quarter is one of the worst inexplicable decisions that I've ever seen in my entire life. How many times have the Heat blown fourth quarter leads this season? And it's because you have a starter, or you start the fourth quarter with a lineup of Terry and Jaime. The two worst plus-minus players on the Heat this year. Look at this graphic. This graphic speaks volumes. It is the plus-minus for every single player on the Heat this year. And who do you see at the very bottom by a large margin? It's Terry Rozier and Jaime Jaquez Jr. Jaime Jaquez is worst on the team at a minus 149. Terry Rozier is second worst at a minus 113. The third worst player is Nikola Jovic at a minus 33. So Rozier is like a minus 80 worse, which is insane. And obviously Jaime Jaquez is just on a whole other level of bad this year. But he's a sophomore. He's not going to get as much crap from me as Terry Rozier. Although Jaime Jaquez has been bad. I'm not going to discount that. And I know he's a 24-year-old sophomore. So it's not like he's super young. But there's bigger problems to me than Jaime Jaquez. Because Jaime's not getting paid nothing. Terry Rozier is getting paid $20+ million to be a minus 113 on the season. 80 points worse than the next guy. You can see almost all these guys are in a similar range. Everywhere from Nikola Jovic all the way up. But to have these two that far worse at the bottom than everyone else, it just speaks volumes. It really does. And Terry Rozier is playing 30 minutes a night. Look who number one is on this list of plus minus. It's Alec Burks at plus 71. Every time he comes into the game, he makes plays. Why is his minutes half as much as Terry? Not even half as much. Look at the numbers here. Terry Rozier's played over 1,300 minutes this year. Alec Burks has played just over 400. So Terry Rozier has had almost 900 more minutes than Alec Burks. When Alec Burks is the leader in plus minus, and Terry Rozier is second worst in plus minus. Now, I understand plus minus can be a finicky stat. There's a lot of variables that go into that. And I understand that if Alec Burks played more minutes, you'd have a bigger sample size and his plus minus probably wouldn't be as high because the team overall is mid. But if you watch these games, the eye test would tell you that Terry Rozier is one of the worst players on the entire Heat team, or in recent Heat history, maybe all of Heat history. I don't know. Mo Harkless still exists in this world. But Terry Rozier is one of the worst players. Alec Burks seems to make a contribution when he's in there. And just based off the plus-minus numbers, you can see that the numbers tell the same story as the eye test. Why Erik Spoelstra continues to play Terry Rozier, I can't explain it. To get into some more advanced stats here, these are two of the numbers, or two of the stats that we showed in my last Terry Rozier video. And what I want to note is that Terry Rozier, when he takes 0 dribbles, shoots 35% from 3, which is not all that good. But look how much the percentage drops when he takes 1 dribble. It drops from 35% to 22%. And that 1 dribble on the 3-point attempts is that stupid step back that we've been talking about all season. That's how much the percentage worsens. For some reason, when he takes 2 dribbles, it actually jumps back up to 39. So maybe that's the secret recipe. But then you can see once he's on 3 to 6 dribbles and then 7+ dribbles, the 3-point percentage just drops drastically. And that's when he starts to get in his bing, 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 oh, that boy nice bag, where he starts dribbling, has tunnel vision, ignores everyone else. And you can see that's when the 3-point percentages just drop drastically. And then the other advanced stat that we talked about in the last video, will show you the updated numbers, is this year Terry Rozier is about 34% from catch and shoot threes, which is also not good. But when he does that pull-up three, basically meaning that it's off the dribble, he's shooting just over 26%. These are awful numbers, and you can see how much worse it is when he tries to dribble and do the step back before it. You hear passive-aggressive Eric Reed on every broadcast. Oh, Terry Rozier has really struggled with that step back this year. You can tell Eric Reed's about 2 Terry Rozier step backs away from cursing out a storm. Because just like it's frustrating the rest of us, it's frustrating those guys too. And it seems to frustrate everyone outside of Eric Spoelstra. I can't explain why. But anyways, that's all I got to say for this video. I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a film analysis in yesterday's game, because I'm not going to say it was keeping me up at night, because I'm no longer surprised. But it gets more and more frustrating every single game. But anyways, let me know y'all thoughts down below. Drop some theories as to why Eric Spoelstra is still playing Terry Rozier. Feel free to get creative with that. And make sure to like the video and subscribe, because all the support is greatly appreciated. The good news is the Heat play the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow. Oh, that's going to be tough. But Terry actually had a good game versus OKC last year. I do remember that, so we'll see what happens. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in the city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.